The town of Havenwood slept soundly, or so it seemed. It was a small town, tucked away deep in the shadowed valleys, surrounded by ancient, whispering pines. Not many roads led to Havenwood, fewer people ever left. A forgotten place, some might say. A place where secrets could fester, where the night held its breath, waiting. KWHW radio station stood on a hill overlooking the sleeping town. A lonely sentinel, its red tower light blinked faintly, a weak pulse in the vast darkness. The building was old, paint peeled from its wooden sidings. Inside, the equipment was older still. Tubes glowed with a tired warmth. The station was a relic, a voice in the encroaching silence. Marla Trench sat in the control room. It was late, very late. Her shift was the midnight hour. She spoke into the microphone. Her voice was low, smooth, a balm for the insomniacs, the lonely souls, the few who still listen to AM radio in the dead of night. She imagined them out there, listening, waiting with her. Her routine was simple. Black coffee, always bitter, stacks of vinyl records, jazz, blues, old forgotten tunes. The hum of the transmitter was a constant companion, a mechanical heartbeat in the quiet room. Sometimes the loneliness felt heavy, like the pressing weight of the dark woods outside. Tonight, it felt heavier than usual, a premonition. The telephone rang. Its shrill cry cut through the quiet. Marla jumped. Not many calls came this late, usually just silence or the crackle of distant storms on the line. She picked up the receiver. "KWHW, you're on the midnight hour," she said. Static answered her, a harsh, scratching sound. Then a voice, low, raspy. The voice was strange. It felt cold, like a winter wind blowing through the phone line. "I have a request," the man rasped. His words were slow, deliberate. He didn't ask for a familiar song. He asked for something she had never heard of. "Play The Listener's Lullaby," he insisted. His tone allowed no refusal. It was a demand. Marla felt a shiver, a prickle of unease. "I'm not familiar with that title," she said, trying to keep her voice steady. "It's here," the voice whispered. "In your archive. Deep in the back. Find it." The line went dead. Just the hum remained. An empty, waiting hum. She stared at the silent phone. The request echoed in her mind. Curiosity, or perhaps something else, pulled her up. She walked to the station's small archive room. Dust lay thick on everything. The air was stale. She searched through rows of forgotten records, old 78s, unlabeled tapes. Then she saw it, a plain black sleeve, no title, no artist, just a single pristine vinyl record. It felt strangely cold to her touch. Marla returned to the control room. The unmarked record felt heavy in her hand. A sense of dread washed over her, but the caller's voice, it had been so insistent. She placed the disc on the turntable. The needle arm hovered. For a moment she hesitated. Then she lowered it. The needle met the vinyl. Silence. A long, drawn-out silence. Then a sound began. Not music, not at first. A low, guttural thrumming. It vibrated through the floor, up her legs, into her chest. Then the notes started. Dissonant, jarring, like a broken music box. Beneath the sounds, she heard something else. Whispers. Faint. Indistinct. But they were there, coiling around the strange melody. Marla felt a sudden, icy chill. The lights in the studio began to flicker. On. Off. On again. The air grew colder, much colder. Goosebumps rose on Marla's arms. The strange music seemed to fill the room, to seep into the very walls. The whispers grew, louder now. She couldn't make out the words, but she felt their meaning. Malice. Hunger. The old equipment groaned. The phone lines lit up, one by one. Not many. Havenwood was small, but the voices were panicked, hysterical. Listeners reported sudden, inexplicable fear, shadows moving in their homes, cold spots. One woman sobbed about whispers in her child's empty room. The lullaby was reaching out, touching them, terrifying them. The broadcast was spreading something terrible. The unholy music swelled. It filled the small studio. The whispers were clearer now, horribly clear. They seemed to call her name. Marla, sibilant, mocking. She saw movement out of the corner of her eye, dark shapes, flitting at the edges of her vision. The temperature plummeted. Frost formed on the window pane despite the summer night outside. Shadowy figures began to coalesce, taking form in the dim light. One stood just outside the control room window, tall, gaunt, pressing a pale face against the glass. Its eyes were dark pits, empty. More figures emerged from the corners of the room. They glided, silent, watching her. The whispers swirled around her, closing in, suffocating. Sparks erupted from the main console. Equipment popped, smoked, died. The building itself seemed to groan. A deep structural agony. The record on the turntable spun faster and faster. A demonic whirlwind. Then, with a sickening crack, it shattered. Splinters of black vinyl flew across the room, but the whispers did not stop. They were everywhere now, inside her head. Marla lunged for the microphone, her only link to the outside world. "Help me," she screamed, her voice cracked. "It's here! The darkness! It's—" Her words were cut off by a burst of violent static. The station went dead. Complete silence. Then a new voice filled the airwaves. Just for a moment. Soft, cold, and utterly final. Good night, listeners. Forever. Then nothing. Only the wind, howling through the broken shell of KWHW.